Welcome to your program of choice, Health Affair on AIT, on the platform focused on public health issues, challenges of women and children with a view to providing lasting solutions. I am your regular anchor, Ushuomowa Daniels. Our focus today is on salt and sodium reduction in our diet. Please don't go away, we'll be back after our new segment.
Growing up was a challenge. I had a communication problem. People saw me as an abomination. They called me all manner of names, even among my peer group. They tried to stay away from me. What was my offense? Because I had a defect.
Blessing Owurese was born with cleft lips and palate. Having undergone 8 surgeries due to this oral facial birth defect, she has a lot of stories to tell. With support from some quarters and her resilience, she has been able to weather the storm. But not many people with this condition are this fortunate.
We need that love from the society. We shouldn't be discriminated. Even tomorrow, a child will be born with cleft lip. So therefore, I encourage the society to accept us and accommodate us.
A cleft, according to experts, happens if the tissue that makes up the roof of the mouth does not join together completely during pregnancy. Babies with such defects usually have problems with feeding and speaking clearly.
Normally, there should be no communication between the nose and the mouth. But when there is a cleft of the palate, there is now a communication between the nose and the mouth. So when the child eats, instead of the food going straight into the esophagus, some of them will go into the esophagus, but a lot of them will now be going into the nose, into the upper airway. So the food will be coming out through the nose.
They face a lot of challenges with their speech, and that occurs because of the nature of the defect. It affects the palate, and the palate is an important portion required for speech, develop pharyngeal function.
Globally, about 1 in 700 children are born with oral facial clefts, about 32,000 in Africa, and an estimated 6,186 in Nigeria.
The numbers are reducing, however, the numbers are still existent in Nigeria. And I like what she's now doing. I haven't enjoyed goodwill, to undergo several surgeries. She herself is now running a non-profit, Perfect Image Children, so that she can also pay it forward and give it back to society for children who are not able to get the support that they need financially.
Due to a high level of ignorance about clefts, a lot of babies born with the condition in Nigeria suffer societal rejection and stigmatization. This is why Blessing Owurese, a Nigerian pharmacist, has documented her experience in this publication, Beyond the Scar, for others to learn from.
You're going to read this book, you will see that there are a lot of things you are going to learn from that book that will really help you if you have not even started doing something in life. I can assure you the book is going to inspire you, it's going to make you to get up. If you are a sleeping giant, you get up and start running to make life what it ought to be.
A healthy population, people often say, builds a prosperous nation. But many Nigerians are threatened on a daily basis and die needlessly due to diseases, poor health care, malnutrition, and lack of access to relevant health information. The sorry state of our health infrastructure is also a major challenge. On Health Affair, Oshomo Daniels brings these challenges to the attention of relevant authorities for a lasting solution. For sponsorship and advert placements, please call the numbers showing on your screen. Health Affair, your access to good health through relevant information.
Welcome back. The human body requires a minimal amount of sodium, commonly known as salt, to function properly. To this end, the World Health Organization (WHO) recommends 5 grams on a daily basis. However, current statistics have shown that Nigerians take more than 2 times the recommended quantity thereby increasing the risk of cardiovascular diseases.
The question you might want to ask is why salt reduction, particularly if you have been following our campaigns on food, the SSB tax campaign, and then you begin to say, waiting will go chop. Again, our desire is that by the end of the day, you have clarity about why, again, this has become a very topical issue that we gathering everybody to discuss today. And the problem is no other than the fact that non-communicable diseases are on the rise in Nigeria. Nigeria currently, consume up to 5.8 grams of salt per day, which exceeds the World Health Organization recommended limit of 2 grams of sodium per day. So our role as civil society groups is to help the public understand the dangers in some of our dietary choices and to make people lead healthy lifestyles. We strongly believe that this training will further advance our quest to ensure that Nigerians are well educated about the need for salt reduction and the need for the government to set mandatory salt targets in Nigeria.
I really appreciate the opportunity given to us, to be able to come here and to present some of our findings and to build more on this fight against cardiovascular diseases, especially salt-related cardiovascular diseases like hypertension, kidney disease, heart failure, and the rest of them. So we've been doing a lot of research on getting to know what people know about their health regards to salt, regards to hypertension, what kind of foods people eat. And we're grateful that the data we've collected from there, it's now, we're now able to use this data to show people that, look, all those other diseases that people have had, all those other epidemic diseases or diseases that kill people easily, these other diseases are just as important, and you need to start taking care of your health so that you don't fall prey to all of this. So we're very happy to be here, and we're very happy to come and show you some data which we believe will give you more insight on how you respond to the public or how you present to the public on things they need to know about their cardiovascular health, especially things related to salt.
Lots of funding, lots of news, lots of attention goes to infectious diseases, things that can spread, goes to diseases that can rapidly kill, and diseases that can rapidly disfigure individuals. And there's a tendency to ignore what we like to refer to as the silent killers. The silent killers are all over the place, and these days most of them fall under the big category we call non-communicable diseases. And one of the biggest causes of non-communicable diseases is what we'll be addressing today. If you notice, the key operational word there is not elimination, it's not stop, right? It is reduce. And the reason why it's important is that salt is part of what regulates your body functions. If you have low salt, no salt in your body, your muscles will cramp. You see people who are running and playing football, they suddenly, after a while of playing 60, 70 minutes, they begin to cramp. Why? Because they have sweated and sweated and sweated, and salt has left their system, and the muscles now begin to cramp. So you need salt for your muscle functions, for your routine, regular bodily functions, right? So salt is important for your health. You are beginning to show signs of elevated blood pressure. Within a week, 1 week of reducing your salt consumption, your blood pressure will start to drop. It works that quickly. Go home today, take your blood pressure, record it down, and then tell your wife or whoever cooks for you. You say, look, I don't eat salt for the next 1 week in my food. And you discipline yourself to just eat bland, or to taste bland in your mouth. But after 1 week, your taste profile will change. You suddenly begin to enjoy the food because your mouth has adjusted. In a week, you'll be amazed. And after 1 week, go back and check your BP. You will say, I told you. That's how quickly it works. And that's how quickly it continues to damage you if you don't change. So it's very, very important. So because of the dangers of salt, WHO, as early as 2013, now decided, look, this is becoming too much. Let us start a global campaign so that all countries by 2025, which is next year, will have carried out campaigns that reduced their salt consumption by at least 30%. And in trying to do that, we decided that we will focus largely on commercially produced foods, because commercially produced foods are the greatest source of salt in our diets. The ones we cook at home contain salt, but they actually contain less than those ones that we eat commercially. Those commercially produced foods is concentrated salt.
Current data shows that most Nigerians take times 2 the amount of salt they're supposed to be taking in a day. Ideally, maybe around 5 milligrams, and then we do about 10. And people should also not make the mistake to also think that it is just that added salt that is the salt that they take. There is already salt in a whole range of food that we eat, and for some of us that actually we live in the city, there are already salt, even the raw food that we buy, frozen fish, frozen seafood, frozen this, frozen that, including some of the, canned food, canned titles or whatever that Nigerians eat. And so that has led to the upsurge of cardiovascular diseases in Nigeria. Almost every family in Nigeria has someone that is battling hypertension. Of course, hypertension, stroke, diabetes, all of them are linked, heart attack and the rest of them. People watch matches these days and then they shout and then boom, they're gone. And so it behoves on all of us to begin to educate ourselves on the needs to reduce, salt consumption across all our diets. It's at the average of a level teaspoon a day. This tiny teaspoon, the one we used to give our children medication, those tiny one, not even the tablespoon. That's cumulatively per day. And when you look at our practices, even cultural practices, that people do this salt shake on the table, some just add raw salt anyhow. And so we're also looking at it from the perspective of what we call mandatory salt targets, whereby government will now have regulation for food companies, for restaurants to be able to reduce the amount of salt in their food. But it all starts from all of us as Nigerians, that we should be conscious in reducing the amount of salt intake.
Cut down on eating out, come back to eating fresh and nutritious food prepared from scratch at home, and reduce the quantity of salt and bouillon cubes and other artificial seasonings that are high in sodium that we add to your foods. Also, another way to reduce our salt intake is by incorporating fruits and vegetables into our diets. If you had food that contains salt in the morning, in the evening you could take fruits and vegetables or salads and go to sleep.
It's really important. In schools, in churches, in mosques, everywhere the message has to be told. And this is why journalists have a very, very important role. We can take the messages to wherever we are going. It doesn't have to be only in our official capacities when we work. We can spread the messages whenever we go out for functions and so on and so forth. I'll give you an example. We also run another campaign about sugar, excessive sugar consumption. And we realized that when people hold parties, when churches, organizations meet, when mosques meet, they share soft drinks. So we all have a role to play in spreading this message. Journalists should tell people, tell their families, charity begins at home. Start from your home, take the message out, tell your children, let them spread the messages in schools, let them talk to the government and so on and so forth. Policymakers, policymakers may not be aware until journalists start talking about it. When AIT reports the story, another TV station does the same, a newspaper does the same, people begin to realize that this must be really important.
I work for USAID-funded Breakthrough Action Nigerian project, and I'm asking you to watch Health Affairs because it is an authentic platform for health information.
On our clinical segment, we give you tips for healthy living.
Tobacco is highly addictive and it contains many harmful chemicals. Tobacco kills more than half of its users when used as intended by the tobacco manufacturers. Common tobacco products include cigarettes, cigars, pipes, hand-rolled, shisha, and snuff. There are newer products such as electronic cigarettes. Tobacco use increases the risk for heart disease and other cardiovascular diseases. Secondhand smoking, non-smokers inhaling tobacco smoke around the person smoking, also increases the risk of heart disease and other cardiovascular diseases. It is recommended that you completely avoid tobacco use and inhalation of secondhand tobacco smoke. It is recommended that you completely avoid tobacco use and inhalation of secondhand tobacco smoke. Comply with the provisions of the National Tobacco Control Act 2015, one of which is the ban on smoking in all indoor and outdoor public and workplaces. If you are already using tobacco, visit any healthcare facilities for quitting assistance.
This is how we wrap it up today. Thanks for spending your time with us. Let's do it again same time next week. I remain yours truly, Yoshua Mowa Daniels. Please keep staying safe.